What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about a spicy preview of new multiplayer features in Modern Warfare 2, some more early details about the game and Warzone 2, plus even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and make sure you have notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Cold War Year 2, Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and any other future Call of Duty as well. I'm also very happy to announce the opening of my second channel, dkdynamite Plus, where I'll be posting a variety of different shorts, videos, and streams of a bunch of different games that aren't Call of Duty, but occasionally on that channel I'll post maybe some COD Mobile or extra news segments that I don't cover here on the main. But there are definitely a ton of major titles on the way for us gamers out there, so I can't wait to cover all of that as much as I can there on the second channel. But don't worry, it doesn't affect my main content on this channel in any way, shape, or form, but any support is appreciated over on dkdynamite Plus. Now, first and foremost, as you guys will see in the background, we have some Champion Hill gameplay here in Vanguard. It came to my attention that they got rid of solos, trios, and quads from Champion Hill, but duos is the permanent version of Champion Hill, which has remained in Vanguard. That's about it. And the lobby that we got into was pretty potato, if I'm being honest with you guys. People out there just didn't know how to play this mode. So I'm sad to say that the player count for Champion Hill is probably the worst it's ever been, but I'm just wondering, right? This is one of the most innovative parts of Vanguard, and I just don't understand why it never got an update. It's in the same state as it was back during the alpha. Yeah, there's been stability changes here and there, but nothing new was really added to the mode, such as maps or weapons or streaks, anything of that nature. So this is definitely a mode that I feel like devs put a good amount of time into just for it to kind of sit there and not really get any attention months after the launch of the game. And the same can be said about the ground war mode in this game, Arms Race. I mean, I'm kind of confused as to why dev time and resources were put into that just for them to really never acknowledge the modes ever again. It's kind of sad because I think this is probably the best part of Vanguard that I can just hop on and play anytime and still have a great experience with some of my friends out there. I want to start with something pretty funny here in this video in regards to Modern Warfare 2. So an article was posted earlier this afternoon by the usual suspect Ralph's Valve, who does post early details about Modern Warfare 2, in which he was asking us, should fans be worried about the upcoming release of MW2? So let's first look at the article, then we'll look at some hilarious replies, which I just couldn't believe. So he went ahead and said that his source or an associate went on to state, it felt like there was a bit of an old guard, a kind of click-driven environment where you respected what the seniors wanted and left a lot of new hires feeling disregarded and lost. I love the team at Infinity Ward, but I do hate how they manage people. They like to use and abuse people, lots of talented individuals, a part of the team, and separate departments. We'll be breaking up after this game has shipped, so keep that in mind. It should be a big year for IW, but after this next title, I don't see Call of Duty doing well in general. But then this is where I kind of go back to a point that I made a couple of videos ago, and I'll get to that, but Ralph then adds 2 cents worth. Whether leaks have exasperated the excitement for MW2 is an entirely separate discussion in itself, though fans should temper expectations and wait to make judgments for themselves once the beta is available to them. So we then got a hilarious reply from Burger Town Bubby, in which he says, and who do we have in large part to blame for that, Ralph? You're at direct fault, some of which has been and will be incorrect upon launch. You don't get to wave the flag when you set the ship on fire, you sink with it. Stop writing puff pieces, stop weaving narratives. Ralph then replies with, I report on news, I'm impartial to everything I receive and write, that includes the good and bad. Modern Warfare 2's success doesn't go without flaw. IW have experienced a few shifts and troubles since starting this project, and it's fine to highlight that. And sure, it is fine to highlight that as long as you aren't showing bias and trying to do damage control for a studio that you clearly favor over others, because the past couple of articles Ralph has written really didn't rub me the right way. I was like, hold on a second, it kind of sounded like he was defending them as much as he possibly could to drive hype towards this Modern Warfare sequel. Why he would do that is unknown. He's either one of 3 people. One, an industry plant that for some reason was put in place to drive more hype towards his Modern Warfare sequel for whatever reason, right? Even though MW 2019 sold very well, however, gaming analysts did claim that it had a very low player retention in comparison to other COD titles. Maybe it's that. Number 2, could he be an Infinity Ward dev himself that for some reason wants to risk his career to just drive some hype and leak things to the internet, or maybe he's clout chasing. I'm not sure why this person would do that, but I wouldn't put it past an Infinity Ward dev considering back during 2019, everything, and I mean everything possible for that title was leaked out because a bunch of devs decided to reach out to the gaming revolution, other content creators out there, and literally leaked everything from documents, details, subtitles, weapon lists. I don't know why that happened, but a lot of people got fired because of that, so wouldn't put it past that to happen again here with MW2. Or 3, this is somebody that somehow has an actual friend or cousin or associate that works behind the scenes, and for some reason the individual behind the scenes is telling their friend all this info info, and their friend is Ralph, who is going ahead and monetizing this information by writing articles. So Ralph is one of 3 people, in my opinion. I'm not sure which one it is, but let me know your best bet down below. Now, somebody then says, I don't trust him, in which Bubby then replies again, no one should have from the beginning, and so-called leakers in general. Anyone who took 2 seconds to sit back and read half of the nonsense posted would see that there's hardly ever any tangible brands to swing from. The developers have had a hard enough job as it is. So that's the thing, right? I'm not saying Ralph hasn't been reliable the past couple of months. I'm just reporting on the news. I'm not a leaker, insider, scooper. I don't know who this guy is, but look, some of the things he's claimed have come true, but then there were those really weird claims that he put out maybe a good 3-4 months ago, in which he said that an alpha was coming at some point like end of July, early August. It would be gunfight, and then shortly after that it's confirmed that there might not be an alpha and the gunfight isn't coming till post-launch. So is his source kind of out of date with info? Is he making things up as he goes along? Is he one of those typical leakers that gets good info at first and then loses out on their source, loses out on new info, and then they start making things up to kind of keep the clout going? Who knows what's going on there, but things are definitely looking a bit fishy. We also had a very unexpected claim about PSVR2 support for Modern Warfare 2, which I made a whole video about not too long ago, and I believe that is somewhat plausible. Maybe Activision wants to actually cash in on the upcoming launch of the new VR headset for PS5. Maybe that is the case, but Ralph reported on it a while ago and said that during the recent State of Play event was when we should have ended up getting a presentation or announcement at least for Call of Duty support with PSVR 2. That also didn't happen. And I think I became most suspicious of Ralph a good like 2-3 weeks ago when for some reason he tweeted out a picture comparing Blackout to MW2 campaign footage, and I'm like, wait a second, you're comparing the last gen game that had a shoehorned in battle royale, which didn't have the best graphics, I'm aware of that. It was colorful, but had a whole different art direction from anything else we've seen from Infinity Ward, and you compared all that to MW2 campaign footage on a next-gen console or PC, which is made years and years after Blackout was. What kind of comparison is that, right? At least compare it to like MW 2019 or even Black Ops Cold War and Vanguard, right? You know, quote-unquote next-gen experiences, and even MW19 isn't really a next-gen experience, but you get what I mean. Games with similar art directions or styles, and he couldn't do that, so clearly there was a bias that he prefers Infinity Ward over Treyarch. I don't care which studio you prefer over the other, that's totally up to you, but when you're quote-unquote reporting on news, trying to gain a rep from having inside info, what are you doing? I mean, that just was ridiculous and just honestly laughable. But it also came to my attention that Warzone mobile gameplay is out there. I actually wasn't aware that people out there posted full-length videos talking about and showing Warzone mobile footage, and we're talking 10, 15, 20 minutes of Verdansk mobile gameplay. I thought they would have got striked by now. I'm like, wait, I thought there was a private closed alpha for Warzone mobile going on in which you had, you know, COD mobile creators and other people playing it early, giving feedback, but no, footage was recorded and posted on YouTube that has hundreds of thousands of views. It was brought to my attention that new mechanics and movement was actually present in that footage, which coincidentally is also supposed to make a return in Modern Warfare 2. Now, we saw this info posted a couple of weeks ago by leakers like the Ghost of Hope and even Ralph's Valve, claiming that there's going to be a bunch of new movement changes and features in Modern Warfare 2, such as the ability to interact with ladders and ropes a lot more often, probably even in multiplayer, shifting and strafing, wall climbing, ledge hanging, bunny hopping, of course, as expected, and a bunch of other things related to your weapon like handling, your suppressor meter, magazine check animations, reticle ammunition counts. But then one of the new ones, which I find interesting, is sliding, because it says sliding has been since revised, allowing for players to now slide into a prone position as well as down angled inclines and slopes. So it's kind of like combining sliding with dolphin diving, which you can clearly see in Warzone Mobile. So Warzone Mobile probably isn't anywhere near release, maybe early next year, but could even be sooner than that. You never know. I just think the way they're building Warzone Mobile might be with the Modern Warfare 2 movement changes in mind, so the people out there kind of have this fluent and smooth transition from one to another. I know one's a mobile game and one's like a next-gen experience, but maybe they want to make sure there are similarities between playing Warzone 2, Modern Warfare 2, and then hopping onto Warzone Mobile to play OG Verdansk, having the same type of movement changes, possibly even weapons, which we know is already kind of the case because as of recently, for some reason, a lot of spicy details about MW2 and even Treyarch's next game were added to the Warzone Mobile files for some reason, so clearly there is some intention to make sure that there's there's a big similarity and a big crossover between the current CODs coming out with whatever's going on in Warzone Mobile. Now, thanks to Warzone Mobile's files, we have Orange Man or Reality UK on Twitter claiming that references were added for new weapons coming to MW2. Anything with the tag IW9 obviously represents MW2, Infinity War's 9th game. We have a new pistol known as the Schwisky, as well as a new marksman rifle known as the DM_P Golf 1. Not sure what those represent or what those could be, but if you have any guesses based on those code names, let me know what you guys think those weapons are down below in the comments. It definitely seems like if Warzone Mobile comes out after MW2 does, which I'm sure it will, then it's going to end up having a bunch of weapons that are available at launch in MW2 as well. Now, Orange Man also claimed that in Warzone Mobile's files, you can actually find all the returning perks that will be in Modern Warfare 2 and presumably Warzone 2: Amped Engineer, Restock Ghost, High Alert Overkill, Battle Hardened, Kill Chain Scavenger, Shrapnel, Cold Blooded. He then says, keep in mind, these are not all the perks, just those that are currently in the Warzone Mobile files with the IW9 tag. Very unsurprising that these are returning or posting them anyway for those impressions. Cluster Strike, Deployable Cover, UAV and Munitions Box are also coming back. So like he also said, it's all subject to change. I mean, these are things that could be in there as placeholders and could be replaced later by the time MW2 and Warzone 2 actually come out. But these could also be things that are just going to be in Warzone Mobile that are returning from MW 2019 that don't make their way into upcoming premium Call of Duty titles. And lastly, he's claiming that a new playlist was also added called Fortunes Keep Extreme. No details about exactly what that LTM is, but I'm not sure where he found this from specifically. Maybe the Warzone 1 files, not Warzone Mobile. Not sure what's going on there, but I know Espresso, a fellow card partner, also went ahead and mentioned recently in a video that it's really strange how Warzone Mobile is kind of the new source of leaks and early details about future releases, because you wouldn't expect anything about MW2, Black Ops 2024, Warzone 2 to be added into Warzone Mobile files. But if you start seeing information posted by the usual suspects like Ralph, Ghost of Hope, and then like a couple of weeks later you see actual data mines from Warzone Mobile which say the same thing, then you know they're telling the truth and you know that there's something going on where they either hear the info first and it gets added into Warzone Mobile for some reason, or vice versa. You never know if things are being found in Warzone Mobile or being kept under wraps and then articles come out about it as if they're breaking the news, but it really was just a data mine. I mean, you never know what's going on, but take everything with a grain of salt no matter who it's from. But I want to leave you guys with this. I still feel a bit off that DMZ is not coming out with the launch of this game, and coincidentally, who first broke the news about DMZ, this Escape from Tarkov-like mode? It was Ralph. At first, he was saying that, yeah, it was ready for release. Then all of a sudden, the news was that the mode will launch in beta even when it does come out, meaning that it's ready to drop, but it still has some work that needs to be done with it, but the public can play it. And then the story changed to DMZ isn't actually coming out at launch of Modern Warfare 2, it's coming out at some point in 2023. And what's funny is that the Ghost of Hope was the first person to break that part of the news about the DMZ delay, and then Ralph followed up like 4 or 5 days later with this article about it. So I'm like, who really got that info first and who really broke that news first? It's a bit unclear, but I think going with that, I'm just in shock that Spec Ops is the mode they're running with for this fall. So people out there that keep calling MW2, oh, it's MW19 2.0, that's all it's gonna be. I really hope that's not the case. I'm hoping for the best with this game, but the fact that Activision's confident in Spec Ops really has me concerned, and I just hope it's so much better than the first iteration of the mode. Now, considering that PSVR 2 also doesn't have a release date, but if you want to trust the article from Ralph that Modern Warfare 2 is gonna have like a PSVR 2 mode or something, maybe what happens is PSVR 2 releases in early 2023 alongside the launch of DMZ, and regardless of where you boot up the application from, you'll have the option to play DMZ fully in VR. That would be fantastic. It will make a lot of sense as to why DMZ is also being pushed back that far in 2023. And we also have the recent job listing I keep bringing up that now got taken down, which is asking for people out there to work on Infinity War to work on an open world RPG. I'm beginning to believe that that's got to be DMZ. If the mode is not releasing until next year, I think they're still hiring people right now to get that job done, and it's nowhere near release like originally reported by Ralph. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. I thought I would end the week off with a bit of a news roundup for what's going on with MW2, Warzone 2, and especially the articles that are posted by Ralph, which brought in some very, very funny reactions from you guys out there in the community. Let me know all your thoughts down below. I really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.